first models that we see is the production possibilities frontier, sometimes called the production possibilities curve. And it's just meant to illustrate a couple of basic concepts, but important concepts in economics, trade-offs, opportunity costs, a little bit about growth, resources. So a lot of important things kind of come together in this very simple model. So what we're showing here, I'm keeping it very abstract. So we're producing two goods, good A and good B. Um, you'll sometimes see just kind of random goods picked for these things. But even though we're only using two goods in this illustration, it's really meant to model sort of the entire economy as a whole. So it really, more realistically, would be lots of different goods, millions of different goods that we could possibly produce with our resources. But since we're graphing it on two axes, we're just choosing two goods. But if we had three, we could do a three-dimensional one. If we had more goods, we would have to just keep it as a mathematical model. But so just to illustrate trading off between these two goods. So we have, this is just a snapshot in time that we're looking at, and at this time we have certain resources, and what makes up our resources are the big categories of land, labor, and capital. Capital meaning physical capital, machinery, tools, buildings, that kind of thing. So generally that's what we mean by capital when we talk about it in economics. So land, labor, and capital are resources plus technology. That basically determines what can I produce with those resources and that technology. So at some snapshot in time, I have a certain level of resources and a certain state of technology at that time. And my production possibilities frontier is just telling me, out of these two goods, what can I possibly produce? What are the combinations of these two goods that I can produce given those resources and technology? And so this is telling me if I put all my resources into good A, then I can get 10 units. And if I put it all into good B, I can get 8 units of good B. And I'm just making up numbers, arbitrary numbers, not worried about, what this actually represents for this. And because I drew it as a straight line, what that means is that we have a constant opportunity cost. So our opportunity cost is what you're giving up to do something, or in this case, to produce something. And so if I want to produce good A, in this case, in this simple model, there's only two things I can do with my resources. I can produce good A or good B. So in this simple two good model. And so if I produce good A, what I'm really giving up is good B. There's no saving in this model. We'll talk about saving later on. Either I'm going to produce good A or good B. So if I produce good A, I'm giving up some amount of good B. That's the opportunity cost. So the cost of producing A is how much B I'm giving up. The cost of producing B is how much A I'm giving up. So in this context, that's what we mean by opportunity cost. What is it that you're giving up to produce something? And so since it's a straight line, this ratio, or the slope of this line, is telling me what the opportunity cost of one versus the other is. So just to keep it really simple, I'll just talk about trading off all of good A. So if I move from producing all A to all B, well, I'm going to give up 10 units of good A, and I'm going to get 8 units of good B. And so that ratio tells me what the opportunity cost. Then I can get 1 unit at a time if I want to, but that's going to give me the opportunity cost. So 10A to 8B is my opportunity cost, or only other direction, if I give up 8B, I'm getting 10A. So if you do it that way, you're not going to get confused about what ratio, as we'll see when we start doing some problems in the next section where we talk about trade and comparative advantage. So on this graph, we have a couple of things we should point out. So this frontier, this line or this curve, is the production possibilities frontier, or a curve. And it's telling me I can be, given my resources and technology, I can choose any point that I want on this curve. In this model, I have no information as to how much I value one of these goods versus the other. It could be that I have the ability to produce good B, but I just don't want any good B. In which case I could be up here, and that's perfectly fine. I could just choose to use all my resources to produce good A. So I have no information about how much utility or how much I value one good or the other. There's no prices in this model. We're not exchanging anything. Oh, we'll bring in prices in terms of the two goods later on when we talk about trade. But for now, it's just I can choose any point. I really have no information about what point I could choose. I could just say, I want to be here and get mostly good B, and if I produce that much B, then this line is telling me I can also have that much A. So anywhere on this curve is what we would call an efficient level of productive efficiency. In this case, so I'm using all my resources efficiently to get me onto this line. And so if I start shifting resources from good A to good B, this is telling me how much A I have to give up in order to get more B. So if I were inside the line, that would be telling me that I'm not using my resources efficiently, because based on this line, I should be able to get more of both goods and be out here. And right now, based in my current state of resources and technology, I can't reach any point outside of this curve.